Let us welcome the last speaker. The last speaker is Miss Mirei Mogi.
Her speech title is Let's Write a Magic Book. Let's write a magic book. So, Ms. Mogi, please come up to the stage.
Thank you, the Master of Ceremony and distinguished judges. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Did you know that a magic book really exists? To tell you the truth, anyone can get it, because the writer is yourself. It can cast a spell that fills your heart with happiness. This book is called a diary. By the way, have you ever thought the reason behind unhappiness? In the World Happiness Report 2023, Japan ranked 37th. This is an incredibly low figure for a developed country. A closer look at these results reveals that Japan has a remarkably low figure for a degree of freedom of choice in life. In fact, from the moment we are born, our choices are limited. We can't choose our parents. Even if we don't like the way we look in the mirror, we can't change it. We must obey thousands of rules in a society. We can't really choose the people we communicate with in school or office. It seems that in this world, there are so many things we cannot choose freely. However, I believe that the reason behind Japanese low level of subjective happiness is not the lack of freedom or choice itself. It is rather the fact that one is obsessed with what cannot be changed, because I was one of such people. Today, I'm going to talk about how my diary saved me from the obsession with unchangeable things by giving me wings. When I was 12 years old, I started living in a dormitory, far away from my hometown. In a dormitory, you live with your friends every morning, every night, instead of your family. It may sound fun. However, the dormitory life was more painful than I expected. Kids who are in adolescence are emotionally unstable and often vent their frustration on their parents. In a dormitory, they take it out on each other instead of parents. Jealousy, ignoring, superiority complex, belittling, factional fighting. Almost every teenager will have such negative experiences in junior high or high school. Living in a dormitory means you can't escape from them, even after school. My roommate says unkind words to me. I really want to spend more time alone. I don't want to live in a dormitory. Why was I suffering so badly at that time? I can now clearly see that the ultimate cause of my suffering was my lack of freedom of choice and obsession with it. I had no choice other than living in a dormitory because my school was in Yokohama and my home was in Sendai. I wanted to spend my time alone, but first and second year students had to live in a room with 4 people and couldn't choose roommates. I was tortured, being obsessed with a reality that I could almost never change. And for me at that time, not reality was like a huge monster. One day, when I was hanging along at the bookstore, a beautiful book caught my eye. It had a picture of the Eiffel Tower on its leather cover and was wrapped in a string with a clock-shaped drop. You guessed it right? It was a diary book. Fascinated by its artistic beauty, I bought the book. At first, I wrote mainly about painful events I experienced that day. However, I heard a story of my classmate who felt sick because he mistakenly ate toothpaste and somehow went to the library instead of the nurse's office. I thought, why? His story was so funny that I wrote it down in my diary. Since then, I started writing down all the funny things my classmates said and did in detail in my diary, like a recruiting secretary. Dormitory life back then was so stressful, but school life was really, really fun every day because there were so many unique students and good friends in my school. When I was hurt by my friends' words and filled with sadness and anger, I read back my diary. Just 1 minute after I started reading, I was rolling on the floor, laughing. Then, a completely new idea hit me. Stress is like ripples created by a small stony lake. It was just that the ripples spread to my heart and tormented me. Calm in the ripples was the first spell my diary cast on me. When I became a high school student, my diary cast another spell on me. Do you have a dream? Almost all of you should have some dreams or goals, whether they are big or little. Writing a diary made me focus on my dreams, which were liable to get buried in everyday life. My biggest dream at that time was to get into the University of Tokyo. I want to enter Todai, and to realize my dream, I want to improve my English skills. As I was writing a diary like that, I could switch off my mind to pursue my dream by changing what can be changed by my own effort instead of being obsessed with trivial things with no choice. In short, my diary saved me from the obsession with what I couldn't do anything about by first reminding me of happy memories, which made me realize that unchangeable things are just a tiny part of my life, and by second, allowing me to focus on my dreams, which motivated me to pursue them with full effort. Moreover, by having space in my mind, I came to be able to understand other people's different values that I once thought were completely unacceptable. In other words, I could have bird's eye view. And it was my diary that gave me those wings, which allowed me to have a broader perspective and brought me to the future I wanted. To be honest, I'm giving this speech not only to you, but also to myself. I still sometimes torture myself with things that I could almost never change. I sometimes find diary writing troublesome, even though I know it saves my heart. It's easy to just decide diary writing to be a waste of time. However, isn't it wonderful that we can still make ourselves happy, even in a tough situation, with just a notebook and a pen? We have the freedom to choose to write a magic book and get wings. And I hope you make that choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Mogi. Now we have a question and answer session. Mr. Kubota, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mirei-san. So, thank you for sharing about the diary. And if you're going to write about today's event in the diary, how would you write it?
I took part in the Todai High, and I was really nervous. And all the other speakers other than me did really, really great speech. But I want to write my gratitude toward the members of English-speaking society, University of Tokyo, because they did all their best to make this speech contest successful, and I knew that they worked all the day, and they actually worked until late night, but I couldn't help them much because I took part in the speech contest, but yeah, so I want to write my gratitude feeling in my diary.
Great. So, during your junior high and high school days, I think you had so many troubles, right? And you wrote them down in a diary. And, well, I thought that it is interesting because we can just start from a notebook and a pen. But should that be always a diary? Because, like, some other people may use that notebook and a pen to write about some kind of stories, like the fiction. They could escape to the world of fantasy. Why do you just suggest us to write a diary?
Because, as I said in my speech, by reminding us our happy memories and our dreams, I could realize that there are fun parts of my life that I didn't, I just ignored, and could motivate myself to pursue my dream. So that's the reason I recommend you write a diary.
Okay. So my next question is, okay, so it's important to write a diary, but isn't there other ways like writing on the Instagrams or like X, previous Twitter or something?
Okay. As you say, you can record your feelings on Instagram or Twitter, but according to the research done by Cambridge University, the act of writing on paper can activate the prefrontal cortex and regulate the autonomic nervous system, and also researchers have shown that smartphone use has bad effects on our health, like bad eyesight. So I do not recommend writing diary on Twitter or Instagram to modern people who already use lots of time using their smartphone every day.
Okay, so time has come. Thank you very much, Mirei-san.
Thank you, Mr. Kubota and Ms. Mogi. Please go back to your seat.